Next machine is the iron worker. Now these iron workers have a bunch of capabilities, and I'm not going to show you everything today. I'm going to show you the important things you need to know to get fired up so you can cut metal for your projects. Your instructors are going to show you the rest of the capabilities. But this machine, if you come in here and look, is a 150-ton machine. That means it will cut 14 inches wide, a 1-inch thick material. It can punch through a 7/8 hole through 1-inch thick material. This is a very, very powerful machine. The tooling and the dies have to be set up correctly because the rams on this thing are powerful enough to destroy itself, and we have had that happen. But let me just run through this. So here's the control board, right? If you look at this, I push the start button and nothing happens. It's not doing anything. So I have to pull out the emergency stop, you give it a twist and it pops out. And it still won't start. If you look up here, we see start. You have to have both these switches in start position with the emergency stop out, and then the machine starts up. Now if I push the pedals, nothing happens because I haven't told the machine what I want to do yet. Do I want to punch? Do I want to notch? Do I want to shear? So the first thing I'm going to show you is the punch on the end of this thing. So I am going to turn the switch to punch. This is my control pedal. Now this big guard here I've removed just for demonstration purposes. Every guard on this machine needs to be in place for you to use it. Don't use it without the guards. They put these guards on here for a reason, and that's for your protection. So I've pulled this guard off just so you can watch this work, and I'm not going to show you how to punch a hole. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I want to show you how the machine works. So you have your lower die and your upper die, and your instructor will show you where those are. They're kept in a cabinet, but I slide my pedal in, my foot in the pedal, and this punch comes down. Now as this punch is moving, you can see up here that this rod in this thing moving determines how far down the punch goes. So if I only want the punch to go down a little ways, I move that bar up and it will stop automatically. If I want to have more stroke, more throw on the punch, I move this thing down and it will go down a lot further. So you want to make sure you set that up just to go through the metal because you don't want this die ramming into this die. So that's the punch setup. And again, your instructor will show you how to change these dies and loosen this up and match the dies up and all that jazz. The next thing we're going to move to is around the other end, and that's the notcher. So I'm going to go back to start here, and then I'm going to flip this to notch. That puts the power over here. So we move over here. I have another pedal to run this end of the machine. The notcher is very cool. I bring my metal in and I want to make sure that this is flat on the table, because if I have this like this, it's going to pop this up. So I can bring this material down and this notcher simply comes in and puts a notch in the metal. It's very cool, it's very handy, it's very easy. Just make sure you know where your hands are. And I can notch these out in any configuration I want. Put the guard down when you're done. Now, the biggest part that you're going to use on this is it's basically a mini shear. So this right here is a shear blade. It's a mini shear, but it has way more capacity than our other shear. Remember, this can cut 3/4 of an inch or an inch thick of steel. So I'm going to jump around here. First thing I have to do is come back to the start button and turn it to shear. Now I bring this pedal over because this same pedal runs the notcher and the shear. This pedal runs the hole punch. Okay? So if you come down in here and we look right in here, it's the same thing as the shear. That's the cutting blade. So it's a lot slower than the shear. That's the cutting blade, and this thing right here is your hold down bar. So if we want to cut material, we take our material, we slide it in against our fence, we slide it through, and you can make the same marks as you did on the metal for the shear to get an accurate cut. We line it up with the blade, we tighten down the hold down bar, and push the pedal. We loosen up the hold down bar, slide it through, and it cuts this thing off smooth and easy. The other one is for cutting angle. You can see this, and we don't cut a lot of angle in here. Your instructors can show you how to do this. Excuse me. But you can see the blade moving in here if I hit the other pedal. So there's the blade coming down. We slide our angle in there and it shears off our angle. When you're done, you simply come over. We're all done. You cut your metal, you simply come over, power off. Now again, remember, when you walk up to this machine, it's not going to do anything. You have to turn the switch, and it still doesn't do anything. You have to have the switches in the start position, the emergency stop switch out, and then it comes on. Now you tell it what to do. I want a shear. I turn it to shear, and you're ready to go. Again, this is a very powerful machine. You have to make sure that the dies are lined up correctly. You have to make sure that the tooling is in here correctly, or it has the power to destroy itself. So if you have any questions, you have to ask your instructor. Don't guess at it. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know how to do this on this machine. It's a great machine. We need to take really good care of it and just be careful not to hurt yourself or the machine.